Hello, welcome to the tutorial Creating Virtual Football App using RADZEN and RADZEN Blazor Studio. My name is Benjamin Fadina. In this tutorial, I shall be creating a virtual football league of 20 fictitious teams. These teams will play against each other home and away. When the season ends, a new one will be created. Users will be able to view match day results and league standings per season. This app will be a Blazor Web Assembly web application. So first of all, I'm going to create the application database using SQL Server. So I'm going to search for Management Studio here. So I'll click on it on the link to start it. So I will type in my login credentials, then I'll click connect. Then in Object Explorer, I'll right click on databases. Then I'll click on new database. So I'm going to create a new database called Virtual League DB. I'm going to make the owner essay, then I'll click on OK. So the first, I'm going to expand databases folder in Object Explorer. Here I have Virtual League DB. I will expand it. I'll right click on tables, then I'll point to new. I'll click on table. So I'm going to have the following columns in this table. I'm going to have team ID. I'm also going to have team name. I'm going to set the data type of team ID to int. I'm going to set the data type of team name to nvarchar 50. I'm going to make the two columns compulsory by unchecking allow nulls. Then I'll right click on team ID. I'm going to make it primary key by clicking on set primary key. Then I will go to the bottom of the screen, expand identity specification and change its identity property from no to yes for team ID column. Then again, I'll right click on the table designer. I'll click on indexes stroke keys, then I'll click on add. I'll change the type of index to unique key. Then I'll go to columns. I'll click on the ellipses and then I'll change the participating column to team name. Then I'll click OK. Then I'll click close. Then the last thing I'll do is to save my table. I'll do that by right clicking at the top. Then I'll click on Save Table 1. Then I'm going to save this table as Teams. Then I'll click OK. Now at this point, I want to create my app. So I will minimize. Then I'll right click on RADZEN app. Then I'm going to click on open. So then I'll click on new. I'll select Blazor. The type of app I'm going to create is a Blazor Web Assembly App. I'm going to use I'm going to use standard theme. I use default. Okay, software. Okay, let me use default. Then I'm going to save the project on C. Okay, the name of the project will be Virtual League. C Virtual League, and the name of the project will be Virtual League. I'm going to save the project on my C drive on the following path: C Virtual League. Then I'll click create. So you are greeted by this page that says congratulations, you are now editing a RADZEN application. I'm going to close this dialog. Then I'll click on the new data source link. Then I'll click on new. Where will the application get data from? SQL Server. The name of my connection for the app will be on data. As for the server, I will go back to Management Studio. I'll right click on the server at the top. I'll click on properties. Then I will highlight the server name. I will paste it here. As for the database name, I will go back to Management Studio. I'll right click on the database. I'll pretend as if I want to rename, but I will not rename, I'll just copy. So after copying it, I will paste it here. So the name of the database is Virtual League DB. As for authentication, I will use SQL Server authentication. User is SA. Password, I'll put it there. Then I will now click on Infer Schema. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I want to generate CRUD pages for operations. Note that generating CRUD pages is only available with RADZEN standard, RADZEN Professional and Enterprise editions. Okay, so I'll change the date format to dd/mm/YYY. Do I want to enable optimistic concurrency? Yes. Do I want to enable cascade delete? Yes. Do I want to enable export to CSV? Yes. Do I want to enable search as I type? Yes. Do I want to enable double click to edit? Yes. I'll leave the other options the way they are. Now at this point, I'll click on finish. Then I'll go to my applications. This is Virtual League. I'll double click on it. Then I'll click on run. So here we have the generated app. So click on, then I'll click on the add button. The first thing I'm going to add is a team called Lucky Gunners. Then I'll click save. The next thing I'm going to add is a theme called Victoria Island Citizens. So I click add again. I'm going to add a theme called Bonnie Camp Lily Whites. So I click save. So I click add. I'm going to add another theme called CMS Seagulls, and I click save. So I click add again. I'm going to add a theme called Oshodi Blues. Then I'll click add again. I'm going to add a theme called Ajegun Red Devils. So I'll click on add, and then I'm going to add a theme called Mushin Magpies. Then I click save. So I'll click on add again. This time around we are going to add the solo cottages. We'll click on add again. This time around we are going to add Jafonde Reds. So I click on add again. This time around we are going to add Edibo piece. Edibo piece. So click on add. We are going to add another thing called Surulere Dogs of War. So at this time, pagination has kicked in. So to see the latest addition to the app, I'll click on page 2. So it is time to add another thing. This time around, we are going to add Anthony Peacocks. It's time to add a new thing. This time around we are going to add bar gather copies. So let's add another team called Kano Lions. So let's click add and add a new club called Port Harcourt Lions. So let's add a new club called Enugu 6. So let's add a new club called Ibadan Eagles. Let's add a new club called Kaduna Wolves. So let's add a new club called Uyo Rangers. Lastly, let's add a new club called Jos Foxes. So we now have 20 teams complete in the league. I can search for any team. I'm searching for Gunners now. I can search for Citizens. You can delete. I'm not going to actually delete. I'll click cancel. You can double click to edit a record. So I suppose I want to change Lekki Gunners to Lekki Hammers. And I click save. Let me change it back to Lekki Gunners. Click save. I can export the data to Excel or CSV format. So I'm going to here is the same stuff. Here is the data that I've entered in Excel format. And lastly, sorry, apologies. Let's go back to the database. Here is the table. I can right click in Management Studio and then I say select top 1000 rows. Here we have the data entered into the database. So now, having entered all the teams, the next thing that I'm going to do is to create a table called Fixture Templates. So in order to do this, first of all, I will stop the app. I've prepared I've prepared a file a text file called Fixture Templates. So I'm going to import this Fixture Templates into my database. So what it says is Team 1 will play Team 2 in first match. Team 3 will play Team 4 in second match. Team 5 will play Team 6 in third match, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to bring it into my database. In order to do that, I'm going to go to my application database, which is Virtual LibDB. I'll right click on it in Object Explorer. I'll go to Task. Then I'm going to say, I will select Import Flat File. Then I'll click Next. I'll browse. This is the flat file I want to import. The new table name is Fixture Templates. I'll leave it the way it is. The table schema is DBO. Then I'll click Next. So this is how the data that will be imported is going to look like. So I'll click Next. I want this to be int. I want it to be primary key. Then I'll click Next. Then I'll click Finish. So data has been imported. So I'll go back to Object Explorer. I'll right click on Tables under Virtual LibDB. I'll click Refresh. So I have Fixture Template. I'll make one additional modification to Fixture Templates. I'll right click on it. I'll go to Design. And the additional modification I'm going to make to it is that I'm going to make identity template ID. Okay, it's identity. So I'll click Yes. Then I'm going to save the Fixture Templates. Then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch data from it. In Management Studio, I'll right click and say select top 1000 rows. Okay, so that is that. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to go back to RADZEN. I'll go to Data. I'll double click on Data. I'll click on Infer Schema. I'll click on Generate Tables. I'm going to expand Fixture Templates. dd format /mm/yyyy. I'm going to enable export to CSV, enable search as I type. I'm going to enable double click to edit. Then I'll click Finish. Then I'll go to my applications. I'll go to Virtual League. Okay, what I have is Teams for now. I want to check something. Let me see, double click on this. Cancel. Okay, let me click finish. Now let me go to my applications, click on virtual link. Let me click on create new page. I'm going to choose crud pages. I'll click next, and this time around it's going to be for Fixture Templates. So I'm going to call this Fixture Templates, and I'll click on next. Enable export to CSV, enable search as I type, enable click to edit. I don't want to see e-tag. Okay, e-tag. Let me click save. Now let me double click on add. Okay, Fixture Templates. This is how it looks like. Let me run the app. Oh, I get this message saying unable to upload source template. Well, let me stop this. Let me go to data. Let me go to data in fast schema. Okay, generate pages. Let me overwrite the existing pages. I want to overwrite the 16 pages. So /dt/mm/yyyy. Enable export to CSV, enable search as you type, enable double click to edit. Let me click finish. Go to my applications, go to Visual Studio. Let me click run. Having an issue here. Okay, delete. Let me delete this as well. No. Okay, so let's go to data again. On data, fast schema, generate pages, overwrite. Date format is dd/mmm/yyyy. Enable export to CSV, enable search as I type, and enable double click to edit. Finish. go back to my application, so we click on virtual link. Now let's click on run. So we have teams, but we have an issue here. The issue is that we have two links for fixture templates. Well, I'll go to stop, I'll click on stop, I'll go to layout, I'll go to main, I will select the panel menu, I'll click populate from application, put space in this, that should be it. So I will now run, I'm already running the app. Okay. So clicking on fixture templates, bring me here. All right. So it is time to create a new table called leak seasons. So I click on table, I point to new table. So we are going to have season ID, whose that type will be int. And then we are going to have season name, whose that type will be end back at 50. So we'll make season ID primary key, and we'll make it an identity column. Then we'll save this as leak seasons. Then when I click on the table designer, I will go to indexes to keys, we'll click add, change the type to unique key, participating column 2, season name, click OK, click close, click save. So we are going to save leak seasons. So the next thing we want to do is to go back to RADZEN, we'll click stop, then we'll go to data, we'll double click on data, we'll click on the first schema, let's click cancel, so double click on it, cancel. double click, insert schema, this time around make sure selector and all table entities. I want to overwrite existing pages again. The format is dd/mm/yyyy. Enable export to Excel and CSV. Enable search as you type. Enable double click to edit. And you click finish. Go to my applications, go to virtual link, fast schema. Generate crud pages, overwrite. Okay. dd/mm/yyyy. Enable export to CSV. Enable search as you type. Enable double click to edit. Finish. Application virtual football league. So we have league seasons here now. So let's click run. There is no link for league seasons, so I'll click on stop. I'll go to layout. I'll go to main. So I went to layout, so I'll click on panel menu. Then I'll click on items, then I'll click on add navigation item. So the text for this will be league seasons. I will select the path to be, I'm going to search for season. As league seasons, I'll pick it, then I'll click done. I'll run the app again. So let's add a new league season. So let's call it league season 001. And click save. Let's delete it. Are you sure you want to delete this record? Okay. click stop. So it is time to create another table. So I right click, I'll point to new, I'll click on table. So the first column will be record ID and the data type will be big int. The next column will be season ID and the data type will be int. The next thing we are going to have will be match day and the data type will be int. Now the next thing I'm going to have will be home team ID, the data type will be int. Home score, the data will be int. Home score, the data type will also be int. I'm also going to have away team ID, the data type will be int. We are going to have away score, the data type is also going to be int. Every column is compulsory. Record ID will be primary key. It will also be an identity column. Then save table as virtual click results. So in addition, we are going to create some relationships. So I'll right click on the table designer, I'll click on relationships, I'll click on add, I'll expand table and column spec, I'll click on the ellipsis, primary key table, click seasons. I'm going to pick primary key column as season ID, foreign key column as season ID, then I click OK. I'll click on add again. I will expand table and column spec. Click on ellipsis. This time around I'll pick on teams. I'll pick on team ID as primary key column. I'll pick home team ID as foreign key column. Click on OK. Then I'll click on add again. I will expand table and column spec. Then I will click on teams again as primary key table. Primary key column again will be team ID. This time around, foreign key column will be away team ID. Then I'll click on close. Then I'm going to click save all. The following tables will be saved to your database. Do you want to continue? I'll click on yes. Then we'll go back to RADZEN. We'll click on data, we'll double click on contata, we'll click on infer schema. So right now it's inferring schema. I will ensure that all entities are picked. I want to generate pages for crud. I want to override. I want to ensure that all pages are generated. Go to dd / bigmm / YYY. Enable export to Excel, enable search as you type, enable double click to edit. Then I'll click on finish. I'll go back to my applications, I'll double click on virtual leak. So we have the leak result table has been added. Then I'll go to layout, I'll click on main, I'll click on panel menu, then I'm going to click on add, then I'm going to create this text called virtual leak results, and the path will be virtual leak results. Then I'll click on done. The next stuff I'm going to do is to run this app. So if I click on the virtual leak result link, if I click on add, this is how it looks like. I have to choose a leak season, match day. Oh, there is an issue here. Okay, I want my match day to be a drop down as well. So what do I do? I'll go back to the database. I'll right click on new. I'll right click on tables. I'll point to new. I'll click on table. So let's have match day ID, which will be int. Let's have match day name, which will be end back at 50. Let's save this table as match days. So match day ID, set primary key. Set its identity from low to yes. Match day name. Let's make it compulsory. Okay. Let's create index 6 keys on match day name. Let's change the type to unique key. Let's click on ellipsis and change participating column to match day name. I click OK. I click close. And I click on the table. Okay, let me click save all. Then I'll go back to virtual leak results table. I'll change this column to matchday ID. Then I'll right click, I go to relationships, I click on add. I'll expand table and column spec, I'll click on ellipsis, I'll select matchdays table. Primary key column is matchday ID, foreign key column is matchday ID. I click OK, I click close, I click save all. I right click on tables in the Object Explorer, I click on refresh. Let me open matchday table here. Let me say this top 200 rows. Let me put match day 1, and let me put another entry for match day 2. So let me go back to RADZEN. Let me click stop. I'll go to data. I double click on data. I click on the fast schema. I'll make sure all entities are selected. Generate pages for CRUD operations. I'll make sure all entities and pages are selected. Then I'll go to overwrite existing pages again. Then I go to dd/mm/yyyy. Enable export to Excel. Enable search as you type. Enable double click to edit. Then I click on finish. I click on my applications. I double click on virtual link. Okay, matchday has been added. I'll go to layout. I'll click on main. I'll click on panel menu. I'll click on add. I'll create a text item called matchdays. Matchdays. As for the path, matchdays, I'll click on done. So, having clicked on done, then I'll run my app again. I click on matchdays, this looks like if I click on virtual link results and I pretend as if I want to add, I can choose my season, I can choose the match day, I can choose team. Okay, we'll do more customization later on. I'm going to stop the app. So the next thing I want to do is to open and run the app for the first time in RADZEN Blazor Studio. So I'm going to open and run the app for the first time in RADZEN Blazor Studio. So in order to open the app in RADZEN Blazor Studio, I will minimize this. Then I will right click on RADZEN Blazor Studio. I'll click on open. Then I'll click on wait, let me expand it first. Then I'll click on open application. I'm going to my local disk C. So I'm going to look for an app called virtual link. virtual leak. So I'm going to click on the solution file. I'll click on open. So I've opened the app. You can see my client and server projects. Let me expand my client project. You can see the pages that we have generated in the other app before. Now let's run the app for the first time in RADZEN Blazor Studio. So I click on run. Okay, so I've just run the same app using RADZEN Blazor Studio. We will not be able to complete this project in one session, so we are going to pause for some time. So I'm going to edit the title to Creating Virtual Football App using RADZEN and RADZEN Blazor Studio, part 1. So this is part 1. Okay. This 40. 44. Alright, so this is the end of part 1. Thank you for watching.